2020, we saw something that had never been done in the history of the world. Each country went into lockdown, no travel, businesses closed, isolation, people couldn't work. It was unprecedented to give the governments this much power. Now, because of this situation, the World Economic Forum and other influential groups are putting forth the idea of something called the Great Reset. The Great Reset is the idea of changing the way the economy works and changing capitalism to make it, in their words, more sustainable. The question is, with the Great Reset, are they going to be making the economy better, or is there something underneath the surface hidden? A hidden agenda, so to speak. There's theories going around that this Great Reset is simply a way of bringing in a new world order. And we're going to be covering all of this in the video. Let's dig deeper, guys. And the first thing that we need to uncover is who's bringing forth this idea of the Great Reset. So the main people behind it is a group called the World Economic Forum, the WEF. The WEF, they're basically like a society. Now this society is formed of a group of quite wealthy people. It costs between £52,000 and £530,000 to join. And they come together once every year in Davos, Switzerland to discuss global issues, economic concerns, and other important topics. At this meeting, they also invite business moguls, international political leaders, economists, celebrities, and journalists to join in on these discussions. Recently, they came up with this idea called the Great Reset. They then got influencers like Prince Charles to support the idea. But what exactly is this Great Reset all about? What exactly do they want to do? Let's go to their website and see what they say. Under context, they start off with the crisis and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems, from health and financial to energy and education, are more exposed than ever amidst a global context of concern for lives, livelihoods, and the planet. Leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties. Now, they come and say that the opportunity is, as we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all of those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being. Now, there's one glaring problem with the Great Reset idea proposed by the World Economic Forum. The problem is that they haven't given us anything set in stone of what they want to do. They haven't said, we want to make 100,000 more electric cars to prevent pollution, or plant 10 million new trees to help the environment. No, there's nothing clear about what they want to do. They just said, we want to help change national economies, make things more sustainable, and help businesses benefit everyone. At the moment, at least from the information that they've released to the public, there's no direct plan on the way they want to change things. That's one concern that I have with this idea of the Great Reset, is it's very hard to criticize or compliment any initiative if you haven't made direct comments on how you're going to do things. But from what I can see, after trying to make sense of all of the cluster of information that they've released, these are the key issues that they want to solve. One is obviously sustainability. The economy as we know it produces a lot of pollution. We've got factories pumping smoke into the air, cars doing the same thing, we've seen increased wildfires, and we've seen global sea levels rise. This Great Reset wants to help prevent some of these sustainability/environmental issues that we've seen. Secondly, they want to address inequality. As they outlined on their website, they want to steer the market towards more sustainable solutions. They said, governments should implement long overdue reforms that promote more equitable outcomes. Depending on the country, these may include changes to wealth taxes, the withdrawal of fossil fuel subsidies, and new rules governing intellectual property, trade, and competition. The third priority that they have is to help what they call the public good, to address health and social challenges. They said, during the crises, companies, universities, and others have joined forces to develop diagnostics, therapeutics, and possible vaccines, establish testing centers, create mechanisms for tracing infections, and deliver telemedicine. Imagine what could be possible if similar concerted efforts were made in every sector. The crisis is affecting every facet of people's lives in every corner of the world, but tragedy need not be its only legacy. On the contrary, the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world to create a healthier, more equitable, and more prosperous future. So again, it's this whole big picture concept of changing things with no concrete plans on what they actually want to do. And that's one of the major issues that I have with this Great Reset. Give us, the public, specifics of what you're going to try implement, and then we can properly comment on it. What I did manage to find was a graph on their website of the main areas that they want to change/reimagine. So you got shaping the economic recovery, redesigning social contracts, skills and jobs, restoring the health of the environment, developing sustainable business models. In the areas relating to taxation, LGBTI inclusion, gender parity, human rights, circular economy, air pollution, future of foods, geopolitics, climate change, biodiversity, aviation, travel and tourism, banking and capital markets, the ocean. Listen, feel free to pause the video and go over every one of these, but let's say there's a big list of things that they want to redevelop or reset. So as you can see, a lot of these intentions are actually good things. Some of course are a bit questionable, do we really need these? But the majority of them are positive. The question becomes, is the World Economic Forum the richest of the rich? Is Prince Charles going to be the people who address and solve these problems? You want to solve equality? Well, you're the richest of the rich. Maybe give away some of your money. You want to help the environment? Well, you own the big corporations. Maybe stop polluting the planet so much? These are the questions that the people are asking. On the other hand, maybe this is exactly what they want to do. Maybe they want to bring the discussion towards the richest of the rich and say, these are the problems that we have. Let's try address these things. Let's address them with the way your business is run. Let's try make it more sustainable, more diverse, etc., etc. However, there are a growing amount of people who think there is a hidden agenda behind this idea of the Great Reset. Maybe their intentions aren't as nice as they make it sound. People are worried that this may be a ploy of the elite to bring in a so-called New World Order. A petition in Canada to stop it gained 80,000 signatures in less than 72 hours. And one of the main concerns people have is the alteration to capitalism. Capitalism has brought us so much wealth, so much great technology and economic improvements. What's going to happen over the next couple of decades if you alter it? Will you still be able to own property? Can we still start our own businesses? Will other people be able to stick their fingers in the way we operate our business? It becomes especially weird when you start running ads saying, you will own nothing and you will be happy. The US won't be the world's leading superpower, a handful of countries will dominate. So they have these big ideas of societal changes, but first, a lot of these changes I personally don't like, and secondly, they're not saying how they're going to do it. They're just saying, we want things different. It reminds me of a quote that I read recently, all tyranny begins with the desire to coerce others for the greater good. They're saying, yeah, we want sustainability, more equality, this is for the greater good, but the question we must ask is who has the power? Who is looking for the control? If it's the people, if it's democratic, then that's fine. But if it's a top-down approach saying, we're going to deliver you the promised land with milk and honey, then I'd be concerned. At the end of the day, if I'm honest, I can't tell directly what their intentions are. I think some of it is the urge to do good and address some of the world's problems, but also some of it is power games. Who is going to have control? Who is going to be viewed as the hero? The way the Great Reset is used to help solve capitalism, it reminds me of Jordan Peterson, his first rule in his new book. Do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievements. He says, although there are an unlimited amount of problems as well as an unlimited amount of potential solutions, there are comparatively limited amounts of solutions that actually work, practically, psychologically, and socially. It is the reality of this natural ethic that makes thoughtless denigration of social institutions both wrong and dangerous. Institutions have evolved to solve problems that must be solved for life to continue. They are by no means perfect, but making them better rather than worse is a tricky problem indeed. Capitalism, yes, it does have its flaws, but it's done so much for us and our society. We're all basically living like 21st century kings with food on demand, travel anywhere with cars and planes, the ability to message our loved ones across the world. And yes, it's got its problems. You don't have to be a genius to work that out. But looking to make it better rather than worse is a tricky problem indeed. My personal belief is the solution will come from the people, not the powerful asking for a great reset.